So we all are made of memories, and today our topic is narratives. And most of us are here because they have a lot of memories. 90s people in 2000, most of them, like until up until now, they've listened to you. And I'm pretty sure memories are also the things that make you as a person. And you've sung so many songs regarding memories of those protagonists, regarding the characters. So, can you share with us your memory, your journey? How did you start? Because we are aware that you started your journey in 1991, but I think the personal experience of yours is something that we might not be aware of, and it would be nice if you could take us through that journey of your memory lane.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here, and I don't want to miss this opportunity of. First of all, I'm overwhelmed to see my principal here, Father Sunit, and you were talking about memories, and first of all the dreams began, as it were. I remember very when I was in school, we had this sort of impromptu debate competition, and we were supposed to pick a topic from a bottle which had topics, and then speak about it. So it was extempore. So I picked up a topic, and it said job-oriented education. The reason I'm saying this is then the topic by itself had so much meaning in terms of doing what you're born with in terms of your abilities and the aptitude, as it were. And so I spoke freely on the topic, and I ended up winning the debate too. And in fact, the reason I'm saying this is uh, in a very subliminal and in a very sort of indirect sort of way, my institution was responsible for me to somewhere learn to focus on my strength. And I come from a background of musicians. My mother is a Carnatic classical vocalist, and my dad was also a very good singer, though he was not professionally singing. And as I said, I come from a family of musicians. So when I was probably in my sixth grade, sixth standard, I discovered that I could sing and sing well. And probably you were mentioning 1991. I would say it was probably 1984 or 83, 84 when I discovered I could sing. So that my memories or my journey as a singer started then. So everything else was sort of in line, in synchrony with that decision and that thought process. So I joined a troupe, a music troupe, and I would sing after school hours. I would, go there and I would sing songs there. And in the process, one thing led to another, to another, to another, and bam, 1991, through some contacts, and of course, unfailing encouragement from my parents and some well-wishers. I auditioned for a Kannada film which starred Mr. Anant Nag and the late music directors, legends, Rajan Nagindra. They were the music directors, and Mr. Pani Ramchandra, the entire group. So I just went there and I auditioned, and they liked it. And eventually my song was retained. So 91 was my first song as a playback singer. The reason I'm saying all these things are, again, the main inspiration behind this journey, or whatever I've managed to see or achieve as a singer, is Dr. S.P. Balasubramaniam, who's my role model, basically. So I have been his, it will be an understatement if I say I've been his fan. I think he just runs in my blood. So it's not just his voice, but his mannerisms, his body language, the way he speaks, articulates, everything. I guess I just very inadvertently or very indirectly listening to his songs. In fact, when I was to get ready for school, Vivid Bharati had his songs, and somewhere I would just be inspired. And surprisingly, I was a rank holder in school. I used to do well. But in retrospect, I have reason to believe that there's something about his singing energy which, which probably was a reason for me doing well overall. So, yeah, so 91, it was just one memory after another, because every song that I sang, every music director that I worked with, every artist that I sang for, and every project that I sang for is a memory for me. And I feel now, after having completed 32 years of playback singing, and another good 8 years before that of general, singing on stage and stuff like that. So close to 40 years of singing. Uh, I have reason to believe that music is probably the most beautiful thing.
So, since you said it's the most beautiful thing, there are people who love reading and who love watching TV shows, and there are many forms of stories. How do you look at music as a storytelling format? What does it do to the listener? Since you've been speaking as a singer yourself and also listening to other singers, how do you locate this narrative element that is within music?
I feel music is the most truthful story. I mean, music is about truth, music is about honesty. The reason is, for example, I don't know how many people are aware of the Western form of music, or even our Indian form, where we have scales like C, D, E, E sharp, and these things, right? So each particular scale or pitch has a definite frequency, as it were. To pitch right, to sing a note in the exact pitch, unerringly, and without any mistake, takes a lot of focus and takes a lot of dedication. It is, it's something that happens in a split second, but the process, the kind of effort that goes behind it, the kind of observational skills that go behind it, and the kind of dedication that goes behind it is humongous. It's huge. And unless and until you're honest to that process, like any art form for that matter, it is impossible to achieve that. So basically, when there is a musician who's honest to the music that he is performing or doing, that probably is the grassroots or the root or the foundation to that story. So what happens is, I keep saying that, when your emotions are right and when your emotions are genuine, they find the suitable vocabulary. You don't have to look for words. It just happens automatically. It's the same with music. Like, for example, I'm predominantly a playback singer, and so obviously we have a lot of different kinds of tones and different kind of moods and emotions and situations that we sing for. It could be a melancholy kind of a thing, or it could be a celebration song, or it could be like a family group get together kind of a union song, or it could be a devotional song, or it could be a very angry kind of song. These emotions that are there. So what happens is, especially when it comes to playback singing, of the 2.5 hours that is there in a movie, we as a singer get 5 minutes to carry that emotion. So it is a story that we are actually saying through our singing, basically, right? So we need to get that act together in the most appropriate way, which means we need to pitch right, we need to understand the emotion and these things. So there are some very interesting anecdotes to this thing. Recently, I had a tour of the US, and there was this show which I did in Austin, and I finished singing. The show was over, and then we had a small photo session, and then there was this one lady who's apparently a widow, So she came and she just held my hand, and there were tears dropping on my this thing. She had tears in her eyes, and I asked her, I said, like, what was wrong? Or she said, thank you so much. I was like, you're welcome, ma'am. But, she said, there's one particular song which I sang in that concert, which is again composed by Rajan Nagendra and sung by SPB. Neera bittu nelada mere doni sagadu, nelava bittu neera mere bandi hogadu, ನಿನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಸಾಗದು. This song, basically. And what happened was, she apparently said that song was literally the inspiration or the trigger for her marriage. I mean, it's some sort of a starting point or some ignition, and she, for her marriage. And she said, sadly, she lost her husband to COVID, and so when I sang that song, the one remark that she made was that when you performed the song, I felt like I was listening to the original, which is again sung by SPB. Again, at the risk of sounding repetitive, the reason I'm saying this is, unless the emotion is right, unless you're in some way, through your music, through your singing, to your rendition, are able to emote right, that impact is not created.
Thank you, sir. Actually, you're building this narrative for us where music, rhythm, memory, all of this is connected in many ways.
Definitely.
And also, thank you for sharing this anecdote with us. And I know that you are on antibiotics, you're not keeping well, but then you started off. I thought, where do I ask him to sing? I'm pretty sure they're waiting for you to listen. And
occupational hazards.
So that was really nice, and one of those songs that we've listened to. You said that you have to imbibe these emotions as a singer, and I also feel a dubbing artist also does the same. They are giving emotions to a character that they are not even playing on the screen. Somebody else is playing that role and you are imbibing it. Can you share with us your journey of becoming a dubbing artist? How did it start?
It's just a beautiful extension of my passion for acting as such. See, it's something really extraordinary. It's out of the ordinary, right? I mean, it's the fantasy world, as it were. So basically, I have a fad for this art itself. So coming to my dubbing experience, it so happened that sometimes, though the language is regional, we have artists or we have people coming from other states and other places to act. Like we have some Bollywood actors coming here and doing roles in Kannada and vice versa. So they obviously will not have language fluency. So people like us are called upon to see if we can dub and things like that. So that's how the whole journey started. And so I particularly dubbed for this artist called Dhyan, who's from Mumbai, basically. So it just so happened that there was but this is very challenging because sometimes, let's say somebody's playing a musician. So, for example, Dr. Rajkumar, when Sanadi Appanna, so he had Bismillah Khan to play so that he could actually see him play and do that on screen. So that's the kind of dedication. So he is not actually a Shanai player, but then he has to do that role on screen. So how he studied Shivaji Ganeshan, we have such veterans. So, as I said, I have a fad for all these things. I love to do these things. Mm-hmm. So it's just that was really the inspiration. So whether it is playback singing, whether it is even modeling for a couple of ads that I've done, or dubbing, or even acting, so it's the same dimension. I mean, it's
quite a journey, sir. Has there been any moment where you've hit the bottom line and then you're like, okay, this is not going anywhere? When there have been moments of that kind, how do you as an artist cope with it? Because each one of us have our own mechanisms. I'm pretty sure you have music with you, but other than that, what are the elements that have kept you grounded and that's got you back as an anchor?
Excellent question. I was, in fact, half expecting you would ask this question because there's a saying, Vidyam dadati vinayam. So it's information, education that gives birth to humility. For me, humility is the most beautiful science. I'm studying it and understanding it as a science in terms of what it does in a sort of a psychophysical way of allowing information, allowing talent to sort of lodge in your brain without any obstacles. Uh, it's the exact opposite of arrogance, if you know what I mean. So I'm these days trying to, in my own humble way, trying to understand this concept of humility in terms of how information is received and it is secure in you. There's a science behind it. So when our ancestors and our the greats that have been there, when they have stressed on this point, when they have said it, there's obviously some meaning to it, right? So we need to understand that. So I'm trying to correlate music and the aptitude in general, and humility. So that's probably where I'm kind of trying to study. And challenges come only when there is some sort of a discrepancy in that process.
Yeah.
You get disturbed probably because, I don't know, in a not so allowed way, or you allow yourself to be compared, which I don't think is necessary, right? So if you just focus on what you're trying to do, it's not going to matter what others do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, sir. I know that you love SPB, and I'm pretty sure most of us have seen in your interviews how much you've spoken about him. When did you first meet him? And I know the answer, but I'm pretty sure they also want to know how this happened.
No, he's the reason I'm even here to talking to you right now, because he's behind this little identity that I have. So yes, it's probably more than 30 years back when I was, there's this process called track singing, which you might have just heard, which you might have heard, where there is a singer who's there pointed to just sing the song in the studio before the main singer comes and puts his or her lines in the original this thing. So when a rehearsal is happening, you need somebody to sing a song there for the orchestra there, the percussionists, the group there, right? So that position of a singer is called a track singer. He just sings the tracks. So I was doing that for Hamsalekha sir, who's my guru, and I've sung more than 1,000 songs, just tracks for the great himself. So one of the initial occasions when I did that for one of the movies, one of more than, I would say, even 3 languages. We have English in anyways, and then we have Hindi, we have the local languages and stuff like that. So it's not something very extraordinary. It's just that because I'm a singer, it gets noticed. It gets noticed. Otherwise, even if you go and talk to a shopkeeper, he would be speaking in Gujarati to a Gujarati there, and we won't even know, right? It's just that this is taken notice of because we are in focus. So that way, I think probably there are many artists, singers. Like if you take Mr. Prakash Raj, for example. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. We take a Shreya Ghoshal, for example, that SPB sir. So I think it's you need to probably have a flair for languages, and then the pronunciation skills. Especially Malayalam is very tough. I've sung in Malayalam, but it was really tough in terms of the phonetics. And then Tulu, and then so probably, my first language was Hindi in school, so that probably helped me. And then I also studied Kannada. Kannada, surprisingly, was my 3rd language, and today I have sung in excess of 8,000, 9,000 songs in Kannada. It's surprising for me. So I guess it's just the flair for languages, the love of languages that helps you here.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the reply that you gave. It get noticed when the artist comes, but it's an everyday for most of them.
Absolutely.
I think that was really a beautiful
Don't you
response.
think so? I mean,
It is absolutely. I
you,
agree
you,
with
you,
that.
you go anywhere. You go to a restaurant,
Yeah.
you go to a supermarket, you go to a bank for
Yes.
all you know. These people know more than one languages.
True, true.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think they all are having their own narratives in that sense. I know that there are many young people here who want to become artists, and what would you like to tell them? What is it that you would like to share with them?
Just go with your heart. Identify what you're good at. I mean, as cliched as it might sound, I think that's the secret to happiness. You do what you're good at. And I mean, I'm so lucky to be born to my parents as such because they allowed me to do that. That's usually there's an identity crisis and stuff like that, right? So, but they quickly understood that this is where my passion lies, and they allowed me to do that in the initial years, formative years. So I really feel you just need to properly, unmistakingly identify your strengths and you sort of spend time saying, okay, so is this what I really want to do? Is this what I'm really good at? And focus, give your 101% to it, and I think there'll not be any looking back.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I know that today world is divided with many different identities. When this is one story, there is also voices that are resisting, and one of the important voices that come from the group is artists, and not just on the political realm, but also in the everyday. You songs heal people, songs make them grounded, and keep singing. We know that you have a flight soon, but we cannot leave you without another song, and it would feel incomplete. So, if you could sing a song for us,
Surely, but do you have any preferences? Any
can we ask the audience?
Sure.
Any requests?
Usire, Usire. Okay, this is one of my all-time favorite songs, which I've sung for. I would say he was first my friend, and then became the superstar Sudeep. So I'm thankful to him, and also Mr. Rajesh Ramanathan, who's the music director, and K. Kalyan, who's written the lyric for the song. So. ಬಾನಿಗೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಚ್ಚೋ ಕಣ್ಣಿನವಳು ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದಳು ನಿನ್ ಪ್ರೀತಿಗೆಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹೇಳು ನೀ ಬಣ್ಣ ಹಚ್ಚು ಮುಂಚೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೇಳು ಹೋ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬೇಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟೋ ನಗೆಯವಳು ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಬೀಗ ಹಾಕಿ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದಳು ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿದ ಮರುಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಅವಳೆ ನನ್ನುಸಿರು ಉಸಿರಲೇ ಜೀವಿಸು ಈ ಉಸಿರನೇ ಸೇವಿಸು ಬಾ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸು ಉಸಿರೇ ಉಸಿರೇ ಈ ಉಸಿರ ಕೊಲ್ಲಬೇಡ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಹೆಸರಲಿ ಈ ಹೃದಯ ಗೆಲ್ಲಬೇಡ.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Honestly, this is no exaggeration, but I have never sung this song in this much of silence.
Wow.
This is even better than a recording studio atmosphere. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you.
Thank you, sir.